Good morning. Good morning. It's the Pastor Lord Morning Show. We up. Today we're talking about why it's so important to live in the present. Why it's so important to live in the now. We get so caught up on what's going on, but let's jump into it. I think you're gonna be really, really blessed by this. I know I was. So look, let's get into it. Good morning. Glad to be here. Glad to make sure that glad to see that everybody's on already. I'm glad to see y'all. So glad to just be able to wake up this morning. Y'all know how I go. We up. We excited. I was going through the news and saw a few things about the Russian war and all this stuff. Um, and just trying to grasp what's going on in the world news. I started to bring some things on, but I said you guys are probably inundated with enough bad news as it is, and so I just came this morning to be some good news to us. And so, thank you. Good morning, Deshaun. Good morning. Um, and I just wanted to just talk with you guys about being present. So, one of the things I think that we have an issue with today is just living in the moment and not letting things distract us from that moment, right? Um, for instance, you spending time with your family, but your mind is at work, right? You spending time with your spouse, but yet your mind is on something else. Does So it's very, very important. I found to be able to live right in the moment. Right where God will have you to be. Um, and why is that important? Because if you don't allow yourself to be in the moment and live in the moment, number one, you can program yourself in a negative way. What do you mean by that? Because when you're not paying attention to what it is that you're doing right this second, you rob yourself of this moment. And we get into these routines. When you think about your routine, right? You get up, you go to the bathroom, wash yourself up, you start scrolling through your Facebook, you start scrolling through this and that. Your attention is over here, your attention is over there. You go to the kitchen, use the same spoon to eat the same cereal, make the same coffee, drive to work the same way. And you're never really, and sometimes it's like it's on autopilot where you're never really appreciating the moments that make up your life. And the problem with that is if you're going in a direction that really doesn't make sense or is not good for you, if you're going in a direction that you really don't even want to go in, but yet you're programmed and you're on autopilot to go in that direction, if you're not present in the moment to say, why does this make sense in my life? Why am I doing this? Then you can rob yourself of not only of your current situation or your current circumstance, but you can rob yourself of your future. What do you mean by that? If you don't allow yourself to think about where it is that I'm going, what it is that I'm doing, why am I doing this? Is this going to make me happy? Is this going to give glory to God? Right? It's impossible for you to be able to make those decisions if you're not present in your different moments. Another thing, the people around us suffer when we're not present. Our children suffer when we're not present. Our family suffers when we're not present because we're so busy thinking about everything else and now not allowing ourselves to be with them at that moment. Right? So why is it so hard for us to live in the present? And I want you to think about this, right? If I told you to put your phone down for the rest of the day and don't use your phone, a lot of us, that will be very difficult because number one, you use it for your entertainment. Number two, you use it for information. Number three, you use it for to communicate. And if I told you to put that down, a lot of us would think our life is over. Why? Because we're so conditioned to believe that our whole world is surrounded by that phone. Let me tell you what that phone or that computer does, right? It connects you to things that are outside of your present moment. So right now, you're here present with me on this screen, which I'm grateful for, but you're allowing yourself to be able to communicate with things that are outside of your space. And anything that happens, whether it be danger, whether it be controversy, whatever's happening out there that your phone connects you to, it comes right into your house, sits right next to you, and it becomes a part of your present moment. Your phones, your communication devices are ways for you to connect with the outside world. But what happens when the outside world is um, distracting or causing problems in your inside? So you ever and here's the thing too. The first thing you do when you wake up is grab your phone and start scrolling. It literally starts your day off the wrong way. God says, seek me in the morning. Seek me. But yet we pick up our phones. So it's very, very hard for us to understand how to be in those. It's a skill to be in the moment, to be present in the moment, right? And our life is set up where if I say that I'm spending time with my children, but yet somebody decides to interrupt that time, we don't even get upset. Why? They call us while we're doing this, they text us while we're doing that, and we allow ourselves to get intercepted by the world and not be present in our everyday interactions. You ever try to do something at home that was meant for work? You in the shower thinking about an email you got to send, and then it's a terrible email. You're not enjoying the shower. On the way to work, you're thinking about what you got to do to work, not enjoying the drive. When you're at work, now you're thinking about, oh, I got to get on vacation. Now you're not enjoying your work life. When you get on vacation, now you're thinking about work. Now you're not enjoying your vacation. You're not present anywhere in your life because you're allowing things to intercept your time, right? Don't let people rob you of your moments. Don't let people rob you of your moments. If this is the time that you guys have set aside to be a part of this show, make sure that you're present. If this is the time you set aside to eat your oatmeal, make sure that you're present because it's the little things that we do that allows us to have that joy in life. And if you woke up this morning and you saw what I saw outside, the sun shining, the birds chirping, and you did not notice that, you're not being present in your moment. If you're not noticing the things that are beautiful about your daily life, then you kind of just floating through on routine, and you're not really understanding what it means to be present, right? Being present is a skill. And I want you guys to chime in on what we're talking about here. Good morning to everybody. Um, I see everybody in the chat, so good morning to y'all. But what do you do to stay present, if anything? Like, what's your process in making sure that when you're on vacation, you're on vacation. When you're at work, you're at work, and you're not mixing. What's your process in making sure that when I said I'm gonna be with my family, I'm with my family? They have my undivided attention. If you're at the table and you picking up your phone, right? Even if I let's say I even set the phone down in front of me. If I'm with my family, they looking at it like I have him just enough time until that phone rings. So I'm literally putting whatever's in the outside world in between the people who mean the most to me. And so we got to be able to be better with being in the moment. So what happens? You going through your daily life, you start thinking about negative things, you start thinking about things that have nothing to do with what you're doing right now, and you allow those negativities to creep in into what you're doing right now. And so now, even though this part of your life is not one that is a negative part, you allow the negative parts come into the parts that's positive. In other words, you took what was at work negative, maybe, brought it home, and now everybody around you can feel the energy that you're giving because you're allowing the things that happen at work to destroy your right now. That makes sense. So what I did, I was doing in-home counseling, which is a very stressful job. You kind of got to take on the burdens of people with mental health issues and all that good stuff. And I made up in my mind I would never bring my badge in the house, right? So when I pulled up, I left my badge in the car on purpose because whatever happened at work is going to stay at work. And I'm picking on you women. I'm going to pick on the ladies right now because ladies, it seems like y'all will talk about work all day long. Men, it seems like when we get home, we don't want to talk about it no more. It's over. Can y'all help me out with that, man? Like we get home, it's over. But it seems like ladies, y'all have a hard time, like and maybe that part of your therapy. But I'm saying, be able to discern your moments. They're not paying you enough for you to carry their burdens home, right? The time I spend at work was meant for work, and the time I'm spending at home is meant for the people at my house, right? Eric said, when I get home, I don't want to answer no questions. Exactly. Ladies, I want y'all to chime in on that. What do y'all think? When you get home, are you still talking about work or are you able to be present in the moment? Um, so that's very, very interesting. But let me give you a few points real quick. If you're not able to be present, you won't be able to program your future. If you're not able to be present, you won't be able to program your future. What do you mean by that? Let me see if I can put it to where it makes sense. If I'm going through the day on routine and not present enough to question what it is that I'm doing, then I won't be able to make the necessary changes that will point my life in a better direction. Does that make sense? So you on a routine, you know how you got people who get up and go to work and work for less than what they're worth and will do things just out of routine and never actually question, is this the right direction that I need to be going? Now, it may have been the right direction 10 years ago, but is it the right direction right now? And when you're not present in this moment right here, and we're so worried about everything else that's happening in our lives, then you can run the risk of maintaining that routine and never being present enough to be able to say, is this the right direction? Because the things that we do, we always need to say, is it the right thing for me right now? Now, if you already settled with that, that's great. But always, in my opinion, be able to examine your routine and say, is this the best use of my time? Because at the end of the day, you only get one life to live. Why spend it, number one, doing something that you don't want to do because it's in your routine? And number two, never being present in the moments that God has placed in front of us for us to be able to enjoy. Let me go to a scripture that will help back this up, what I'm talking about. Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, it says, "Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble." In other words, tomorrow has enough trouble in itself. Why not be present in your today? I know my wife, um, she did a good job of helping me to recognize some of the small things that I miss. I used to go outside and never think about the beautiful weather, never be able to enjoy the things that other people were enjoying because I was just kind of like in my feelings or whatever. But she showed me how to take those moments and be like, let's appreciate this. And I think that's good for everybody because the key to staying blessed is staying grateful. And the only way that you can stay grateful is by recognizing the greatness around you. You know, um, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And when you look at his handiwork and what he's created, that's enough to give him the praise, right? That's enough to give him the glory right there. That he's created all of this stuff for us to enjoy. Now, people mess it up, but the creation itself is amazing, right? Um, so it's three things that we need to be present with, and I'm gonna get out y'all way this morning. Thank you guys for coming in. First of all, be present in your daily walk. Everything that is causing you not to be empowered in your present activities, we need to learn to put aside. Everything that is causing us not to be empowered in our daily activities, we need to learn how to put it aside. Um, and I don't know why this coming to my spirit, but some of us may drink a lot, and you're allowing alcohol to dull you into the point where you're not able to enjoy your now, right? And then when you get depressed and try to figure out why we depressed, is because you keep drinking. Alcohol causes depression, but yet we keep drinking, keep doing this and keep doing that, and never really questioning my routine and my daily activity. Never present enough in the moment to say, man, maybe that's not the right thing to do. Right. Um, so that's the first thing. Be present in your daily walk. The second thing, be present in your with yourself. Be present with yourself. Take time to take care of your body. Take time to take care of your health. If we're not doing those things, you're going to cut your life short. Shout out to one of the members of our church. She was talking about she walked 5 miles, and I think if she not, I don't want to give her age. Sister Deshawn, no, I don't want to give her age, but she's not. She's got some years, yet she walking 5 miles. And can do this and do that. And a lot of us, we don't want to get out of our bed. Why not take time for your body? And what I found is that the more energy you use, the more energy your body produces. In other words, the reason why you tired is because your body used to not having to produce no energy. But if you get out there and say, I need to walk, or eventually your body will catch up and say, I'm going to give you enough energy to be able to sustain that. And so working on your health, making sure that we're not eating too much, right? And I'm guilty of that. All of us probably guilty of that. But and understanding that when you're working on yourself and you're being present with yourself, the work at your job is going to be there. Like 10 years from now, they're still going to have work. So stop making it seem like your work is, you can't get around it. The work is going to be there. Take time for yourself, learn how to put the work down at times, and be present with yourself. And the third one is, of course, y'all know what I'm gonna say, be present with God. Be present with God. Your devotion time, your time with God should be spent with God, right? I don't care if you say 15 minutes, God, this is yours. You got to be able to say, there's nothing that can happen around me that's going to separate me from that time. And I guarantee you that if you have that time in the morning, if you seek him early in the morning, the rest of your day is going to play out a little better, a lot better. And so being present is very important. I hope y'all got a lot from this today. Um, and I'm not gonna hold y'all, but I thank y'all for coming on and being with me today. Um, we got some stuff coming, so just stick with us, and I hope that everybody has an amazing morning. It's the Pastor Lord Morning Show. We up. Good morning.